Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of a totally normal podcast about films, Atten Path. And today, this is our fourth movie from Japan.
Wait, we had Paprika. We had this one,
Pulse and Mothra.
Pulse and Mothra. Yeah, that's the fourth. And spoiler, there's another one coming.
Yeah, not counting the special. We are about, by the 10th episode, half of the things we've talked about will be Japanese. I feel like we need to ban ourselves from Japan for a little while.
I have some films from Korea and other Asian countries.
Oh, that's cutting it close. Anyway, today we are talking about Summer Wars, which is a movie by, you're going to have to forgive me, Mamoru Hosoda, who I think is a little similar to Satoshi Kon, where doesn't make a lot of movies, but the movies they make, utter bangers. And this was released 2009. I watched this movie when I was a kid for the first time. My uncle showed it me, and I really liked it back then. Haven't watched it since until the other night where I watched it and now Leon's watched it.
Yeah, I just watched it yesterday.
So, as we typically do, before we go into plot discussion and spoilers, what did you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed the movie. It's a fun summer movie. I didn't quite understand why it's called Summer Wars. Maybe you have an idea. But it has a summery, sunny vibe to it. Yeah. It's just a little adventure, fun movie.
Yeah. I think it's a really good film. I think that if you want a really nice film that kind of looks at some criticism of technology and also is a really wholesome movie about family, but not in that typical kind of extended family, not just nuclear family.
Yeah.
You should probably give this film a shot. Also, if you like Digimon, watch this film, because that's something I'm going to bring up. Before we go into the plot discussion, do you know of Digimon Our War Game? So, Our War Game.
I know about Digimon, but I don't know about this movie. I only watched the first season.
Our War Game is the second movie. It's also the first storyline of the reboot. And it was directed by Hosoda. He directed, I think, the first two Digimon movies, which were weirdly Frankenstein together with the third one to make the American Digimon movie. No, it doesn't work. They try to make it work, it just doesn't. Okay. So, just to give an idea, I'm going to just give off a brief synopsis of what Our War Game is about. And stop me if this sounds familiar. A virus-like Digimon infiltrates the digital world, in which the main characters have to hack into it to defeat him, as the villain is getting more and more access to increasingly more important and vital systems, until it's a race against the clock to stop something from falling on a city.
That sounds quite...
Summer Wars is technically a remake of Our War Game.
Yeah.
It's the most fucking bizarre thing to me, because I watched the Digimon movie first, and then I watched Summer Wars, and I was like, this is the same film! Well, Summer Wars has the B plots, but you know. So, if you liked Our War Game, you'll feel right at home with this movie.
Okay.
And similarly, if you like this movie, you'll probably like our war game. So, do you want to get into spoiler territory?
Yeah. I think everyone who didn't watch it until now should maybe stop or go watch it. But I don't think that spoiling will destroy your experience with the movie, because the art style is nice and it's really colorful, especially in the digital world.
Yeah, it's more the characterization than the actual plot event. And I'd even say the plot's a tad bit predictable, but that's not a bad thing.
Even though I was a little bit surprised at one point where I thought, wait, I thought this was the finale.
Mm-hmm.
Pronunciation problems.
The finale.
Finale. Okay. And then it wasn't.
Yeah, like, and I know exactly what scene you're on about. I only knew it wasn't just because I've already, I've seen this movie. I can't remember my first experience watching it. All I remember from that was, wow, this film's pretty. Wow, I don't know how to play Hanafuda.
Yeah, me too. Like,
Now,
they go koi koi and I'm, yeah, koi koi.
I still don't know how to play Hanafuda. Anyway, let's get into it. So, the movie kind of has two plots going on at the same. The movie has like a very weird thing where, if you removed one element, like if you removed the sci-fi element, it's a fairly normal, like rom-com. But it has a sci-fi element to it.
Yeah.
So it's basically set in a version of our world where everything's connected to this social media platform called Oz, where you make your own avatars, and it's a little bit like an MMO, but everything's linked to it. So when you think, like, oh, wait, no, I've got Facebook linked to... No. You may have Facebook linked to your, like, YouTube. Imagine if everything was linked to Facebook.
Yeah, like you don't even have to go to work. You can work from home and do everything in this digital world. Like there are businesses in there. You can go shopping there. You can fight there if you want. Stuff like this.
And then there's stuff like, for example, the police, emergency services, they're linked to it.
Yeah.
Traffic systems are linked to it. And we'll get more into the reason why this is a horrible idea, really, why. But so everything's connected to this, and one of the main character, Kenji, who he has a part-time job as like an admin on Oz, is called away from his part-time job because he's been hired by I think like one of the prettiest girls at his college to help her on a like a family reunion for her great grandma's 90th birthday. With the twist being, which he doesn't find out until he meets the great grandma, that he has to pretend to be her fiance for the whole trip.
Yeah. Maybe it would have been a good idea to tell this beforehand, but okay.
Yeah. It's like, it makes sense in character for her. Like, they describe her as like very impulsive, very selfish.
Yeah.
Like, get a grip, girl. Come on. And it's a pretty simple premise, and I think one of the true strengths of it is it feels... This is one of the only movies that I think knows what an extended family feels like. Where it's a lot of people And it's people you get along with, but it's also people who you're going to clash, you're going to have different opinions with. People who...
That weird uncle.
Yeah, the weird uncles. And, like, you're
That-
going to, like, get upset by, but a lot of the time they are just trying to help. But there is one character who I will call out later. Fuck this man. But, you know, aside from him...
Yeah, I think I know who you mean.
Like, okay, to briefly explain, the police officer guy is the good example of family member who, you know, he's just trying to help, but, you know, he's kind of causing issues.
Oh, you're talking about the police guy?
No, I'm talking about how he's a good example of what I'm saying, where he's like, he's like,
But it's not the character you.
it's not the
hate,
twat.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
Because I think even the police guy, even though he's a little bit, all over the place,
yeah,
he wants to help.
his heart's in the right place.
He's a little bit protective, maybe.
Yeah, even like in his most like glaring scenes, you can tell he's not trying to be malicious.
Yeah.
The other guy though, the uncle character. I mean, I'll go into it when I discuss my problem with this movie, but fuck him. Oh my god, what an asshole!
Like, even when they explained his intentions, I still think, what the fuck? It doesn't justify anything you've done.
Yeah, it's like, I understand what they were doing, but come on, there's a limit, there's a line.
Yeah.
And so basically, as he's, you know, meeting the family, so he meets the great grandmother, and it's quite a proud family who are like involved in like many a great Japanese battle.
Yeah.
And as a result, she's come up with this storyline, because as if making him pretend to be her fiance isn't enough, he has to pretend like he's like some amazing honor student.
Yeah, he spent a semester abroad. He has only good grades, stuff like that.
He's from an important family, and I know, Joe, this is probably coming from my very working class British, very heavily left wing mindset, and I understand, you know, different cultures, you know, different family dynamics, but who gives a shit? But yeah, like the great grandma is such a nice character.
Yeah, and in the end, she doesn't give a shit
I like
that he's not this
Yeah,
perfect guy.
she doesn't.
Like, when it's revealed, she's just shrugging it off. She's literally just shrugging.
It's so, to jump ahead a little bit, when it's revealed that he's not who he is, who they're lying about, they do this really great thing where at the start of the movie she asks him if he'll take care of her, and then after it's all come out, she asks him again. It's like, that's quite a nice thing, that like, to her it doesn't matter who he is. What matters is she going to take care of her granddaughter?
Yeah.
And like, she's a great character. Any particular early point things you want to discuss?
Maybe we should go into the sci-fi aspect.
Okay, so
Because we didn't really talk about this
yes.
yet.
So main character Kenji is basically a math genius.
Yes.
And one of the nights he gets a text that is a massive string of numbers. And it's a puzzle, and he solves it. And as he sends it off, his account is hacked. But not just hacked, because he's an admin account. His account is now causing utter destruction. So
Yeah, like he doesn't realize it directly after he sent it. He wakes up the next morning because Oz is in chaos.
yeah, and the kids take him to the TV, and it's like he's now being treated as a wanted criminal. Oh gosh, and this first iteration of like the virus love machine. Oh,
Oh,
like it looks really good. Like I like how standard Kenji Avatar is like quite cutesy, but this one's got that smile.
yeah, he has those really sharp teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And why does he change again?
He changes. So one of the big things about Love Machine is he evolves throughout the movie, and he changes. He changes when he fights King Kazuma.
Yeah.
That's it.
And who is King Kazuma? We have to explain this.
Oh my God, this film has a lot of fucking characters.
Yeah.
Basically, before this happened, to jump slightly backwards in time, Kenji gets lost in the house, and he runs into. They don't really quite explain him. I think they do kind of like imply some things about this character, but he runs.
I thought this character was a girl first because in the German dub he has a female voice actor.
Huh. He runs into this kid called Kazuma, who is really into the gaming side of Oz. And by really into the gaming side of Oz, he is the number one player, this bunny called King Kazuma. So when
Professional esport.
Yeah. So when Love Machine starts causing havoc, he comes in to sort it.
Yeah.
And at first, he's kicking ass. Like, the action scenes in this movie are incredible.
Yeah, it looks really dynamic.
Especially the one later on that you were briefly referring to earlier.
Wow, we're really jumping around a lot.
Yeah. But as the fight goes on, Love Machine starts infecting and absorbing other accounts and evolves into this. I'm this like much buffer form, and its imagery. I'd like to say it reminds me of Buddhism.
Yeah. If you know One Piece, you maybe know the character God Enel. Enel. I don't know.
I think it's Enel.
Enel. Okay. Yeah. He kind of looks like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he is quite intimidating. That's a really good design for a bad guy. Because one thing they actually notice is he's not just a malicious spirit. He wants to play a game. Also, detail that I've only just noticed now that I've got it up on Google Images. In his circle behind him, there are all the avatars he's consumed.
That makes sense.
But he evolves and utterly murders King Kazuma. Like, utterly eviscerates the man. And like the internet being the internet, start just being absolutely dickish to Kazuma.
Yeah.
And like Kenji gets arrested because he's a wanted criminal. I've just realised we have yet to address. Oh my god, this is the one problem with this movie, is that we're trying to talk about the cool things. The quiet, almost every scene seems important.
Yeah.
Because it was like, we didn't talk about the family dinner. We haven't talked about the uncle at depth.
Yeah, that's one of the major problems I have with this movie, that it has too many characters. Maybe, okay, it's due to the circumstances that it's about a big family.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's a very dense movie. You've got a lot to care about, and not a lot, and like, it's great where it succeeds, but like, looking back on it, it's like, that's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so let's introduce the dickish other uncle.
So, at the family dinner, character shows up. I'm just googling his name. Wabisuke.
Okay.
I'm just gonna call him Twat or the uncle.
Yeah.
So he is and he's an illegitimate family member, but who was adopted into the family by the great grandmother, who he quite adores.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, one of the big things is he took a huge amount of the family fortune and then fucked off for 10 years. So no one really likes him.
Yeah, like he sold land without telling anyone, and with that money he went to America.
And not only did he go to America, he developed Love Machine
Yeah.
for military use. Now, granted, he didn't intend to use it for this. It's heavily implied that it's like the US military is technically the true antagonist, which is becoming a bit of a theme. I'm beginning to think that Japan doesn't like the US military very much.
Well, in Shin Godzilla they kind of like them. They ally with them.
Yeah, but like there is like
So they are not inherently evil.
irresponsible and only think of themselves, I think, because in Shin Godzilla they're like, we're gonna drop a bomb in Tokyo, and Japan's like, you can't do that. One thing that I thought was an interesting plot point
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that Natsuki had a crush on him.
Yeah.
Well, like Kenji's fake backstory was based around him. And I found that's a kind of a very interesting plot point, because obviously if you just say that initially, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But it's like, he's been gone for 10 years, implying that, like, 8-year-old, it's like, yeah, it's a bit like, but like, I don't, obviously it's never said it's both ways, because that would be pedophilia.
No, I don't think he's interested.
Yeah, it's just kid has a crush on an older person. She's very clearly
like kids
over
like
it.
all the weird stuff. They kind of like Sasuke too, and I can't understand this.
Like it's just kind of a thing that does happen.
Yeah.
Now, because he was the real developer of it, Kenji was therefore framed. And this is one of my issues with this movie is, while I am glad they didn't go through the awkward, like, oh, everyone thinks Kenji's the bad guy, but he's not thing. They drop it incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
Like, like, when Kenji comes back, the whole family's really nice to him. It's like, oh, did you forget something? It's like, this guy's from your perspective, this guy's a wanted criminal. A potentially dangerous mastermind.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't get arrested because the traffic is out of control.
Yes.
So they just drive back.
They do. Yeah, the police officer of the family just drives back because it's like kilometers of thing. And
they're just like, nah, let's don't arrest the number one suspect of all this chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's chaos.
Yeah. And at the next night's family dinner, and this is one of my favourite scenes in the whole movie, the uncle shows up and, reveals that it was I who made it. But he's kind of doing it in this dickish way where instead of saying, look, I created this, but I wasn't intending it, he was going up to the great-grandma like, aren't you proud? Like, this is what I've made. And she fucking grabs a spear and tries to fucking kill the man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, chill out, Grandma.
Well, chill out. He
No,
kind of
I know why, but it's like
put everyone's life at risk.
Yeah. I'm not criticising him for it. Like, holy shit, come. I was about to say you're gonna give yourself a heart attack, but wow.
Because, guys, the next big plot point. Nuclear plants are connected to us.
Which is, I will say, as much as I really like this movie, that's a fucking terrible plot point.
It is.
Like, I'm sorry.
To be honest,
stupid.
It's really stupid when it comes to all these other things that are connected to us, like the police,
Yes.
fire departments, traffic. All of this is connected to us at one point. So you just have to hack us and you can...
You own the world. And apparently
Yeah.
it's not that hard.
No. A 17-year-old, or I don't know how old he is, maybe even 14, just...
No, I think he's 18.
18? Okay. So yeah. He cracks the code in one night.
It's a very dumb plot, but I will say it makes more sense in our war game.
Yeah, because then you can just say it's a Digimon.
Yeah, it's linked to a digital thing, therefore it's linked to the digital world.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But regardless of that,
But let's give this film suspension of disbelief.
yes.
I think that's what it needs.
Yeah. Look, we can all say we can both agree it's less out of the blue than the romance in Paprika.
Oh,
It's just like, you're together now? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, next scene, and Kenji and the grandma are having a conversation. And I've seen this movie before, but like I forgot when this happened. So like I sat down, I was like, oh, I'm getting very big, red flags right now. And they do the very sweet like, will you look after her?
Yeah.
And then they go to sleep, and she fucking dies.
Classic.
It's actually quite like a very powerful scene, and like it adds some real stakes because theoretically the only reason she died is because her heart monitor was linked to Oz. It was going basically, I think it was something like she had a heart monitor, and if it was going crazy, it was meant to send a message to like the doctor and the family's phone.
Yeah.
But it didn't, so she died in her sleep. But then they also give off the question of it might have also just been her time.
Yeah, this lady is 90, almost.
She's 90. She had a stressful day. She has heart problems. It's hot.
Yeah.
Like I've had a family member die of angina. Like I know that stuff. It sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
It's not, and I found that quite a powerful scene. It's quite a somber note on the movie, but the rest of the movie I kind of considered quite optimistic despite it, and I thought the hand-holding scene after was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe you have to explain what you mean with
I will.
Scene.
I was wondering if you had any other a comment to make.
Yeah.
Basically, after they try CPR and she's gone, and
yeah.
After some conversations, the girl Natsuki is sitting next to Kenji, and she just starts crying, and I think she asks him to hold her pinky, and he does that, and then that gradually just turns to him holding her hand. It's such a sweet and really well animated scene. This scene does not deserve to be as incredibly animated as it is, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take out any scene from this movie, watch that scene.
Yeah.
It's quite a stunning moment. And I think what's next? It's next when kind of they start to devise the battle plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a bit of an argument, which I'm not going to get into every single family scene because let's be honest here.
We don't really care about this. We want the main plot.
Yeah, but this is meant to be a summary. If you want the plot movie, you could watch the movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just meant to be a recap. And I think it's Kazuma, I think his grandfather, a couple of the guys, basically come up with this plot to do it. One of the tech guys rents a server. The fisherman of the family gets tons of ice and even gets his boat to make sure that the power doesn't go out.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand why the boat. Why you need a boat.
My assumption was he had an electricity mains on the boat. The boat would have run off fuel.
Yep. But wouldn't it be easier to get just the electricity parts of the boat instead of the whole boat?
But Leon, there wouldn't have been the funny scene where it fucking shatters the gate.
Okay.
I agree with you. It's a bit why did they need the boat?
It looks nice, okay.
It looks nice.
And for some reason he has really big ice blocks on this boat.
Yeah. And they put that in with the server. The plan is basically they're gonna take what they did with the family, because when in the family's history, how they defeated the enemy was they lured them into the castle and then they shut the gate on them and just bombarded them from the outside, kind of like a reverse siege.
Yeah.
When you actually, instead of being trapped, you trap the enemy. And they're doing the same thing with Love Machine. So Kazuma makes his big return. And they lure him into the heart of Oz. In this incredible fight scene. And they seal him in with the gate. Is this the scene that you thought was the finale?
I thought, yes.
Which, to be fair, we had very big finale vibes. Like if they just put that scene in, a top 5 villain deaths thing, I would have been like, yeah, that's a villain death. They trap him in, and then through the family's avatars, they start bombarding him with water and stuff.
Yeah, it was like it ties together really well. They kind of accept each other now.
Yeah, it's the family
The
coming
dick is
together.
gone. Yeah.
And he's even like referencing like I think like the fireman in the family. His avatar is a fireman, so he uses water.
Yeah.
And however, and this is the scene I was referring to earlier, where the police guy is a dick, but I don't think he's a bad person.
Yeah, because he moved the ice blocks from the server room, which were there to cool the server down.
Mm-hmm.
He removed them and put them in the room of the grandma because her corpse is still laying there.
And it's like it's really
and he
hot.
doesn't want it to rot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it, because I can imagine he probably isn't aware of the stakes of what they were doing.
Yeah.
So like I understand that, and like he's very clearly doing it because he loves the great grandma and like want to just wanting to show some respect to her body.
Yeah.
But the server starts to crash.
Yeah, it overheats and they can't contain Love Machine inside of their trap.
And when he comes out with a fucking vengeance and just starts absorbing everything.
Yeah.
And creates his final form, which is, I don't think it's as cool as his second form, but it's cool.
Yeah, I like the second form more, but this one is cool as well.
Yeah, it's an amalgam. It's like all of the bodies he's absorbed combined into one. It's like just massive black mess.
Yeah.
And not only does he defeat Casma, he absorbs Casma. And
yeah, and that's also the time when he starts with his countdown.
Yeah.
Because I think they have 2 hours until I don't know exactly what he's trying to do, but I think he just wants to blow up all nuclear power plants on Earth.
Basically, they mentioned this a bit earlier in the film. There's a satellite that's being decommissioned and crashing back into Earth. That's fairly standard. It happens a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But of course, the aiming mechanism is linked to us. So he's going to crash it into a particular nuclear power plant, and when that crashes into that, the explosion will begin a domino effect of just nuclear blasts.
Nice.
And it will destroy the world.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not actually sure that's what would happen, but
It just seems like the world is at stake.
yeah, if the world wouldn't be destroyed, the world would be heavily fucked, or it would be a Chernobyl all over again, and we don't want Chernobyl all over again.
Nah.
And they've now lost Casma, so they've lost, their kind of big thing. And the world's about to end. And this is where the film gets a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because, so, Natsuki manages to contact her uncle. And, they do this whole conversation, and, he's trying to put on the I don't care about you guys, but she's like, no, you very clearly intentionally came for Granny's birthday. Yeah. And she drops the news that she's died. And he fucking instantly turns around, and he's like, after a flashback, and he's like, it's quite a sweet scene where he shows up, and not like Natsuki's just grandma, not great grandma, who I think she's now kind of taken on the role of the head. Is now go see your grandmother. And he goes and apologizes, and basically, he created a love machine so he knows how to take it down. But like he needs like time. And it's like, I think it's like, out of all of the accounts that Love Machine has, one of them is the account with the code to stop the satellite. So they need to get that back. So how they decide?
And also,
go on.
He created Love Machine for the money.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make this big family rich again.
Yes. So is it?
But I still don't understand why he just could have told his plan to at least one person in his family.
He could have told it to the grandma.
Going away. Yeah.
He could have said, "Hey, I want to go to America to study and try to get us more rich in the tech firm. Would it be okay if we sell some land we don't use?"
Yeah.
He's just an asshole.
Okay, but let's go on. You were...
So this is where the film gets weird. They decide the best way to do this is, because Love Machine likes games, what if they gamble with him? And I didn't really understand this as a kid. I get it now because Hanafuda is like the family's favourite game. It was the great grandma's favourite game.
I think they play it like 3 times during the movie.
Yeah, like they're very clearly building up to it. Natsuki challenges Love Machine to a game of Hanafuda. And she starts doing pretty well, but then she slips up and nearly loses everything. I think she only has... I think 75 accounts was the minimum bet, but she only had 74 left.
Yeah.
And I'm specifically pointing this out because you got very excited when this scene pops up. Would you like to say?
Out of the blue, another avatar shows up. And it's a German boy.
Just like, it's like,
That's
he was so excited. I'm like, yes.
Yes.
People are inspired.
German redemption arc.
And people are inspired and they send their accounts in. So
she can use them to bet.
yeah, and then it's basically, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
They go all in. And because of this as well, like, Oz grants her, like, she gets a power. She gets, like, she gets an anime girl power. Because of fucking course she does. This film's bonkers. They run some very serious crack whilst making this movie. And
I don't even know what this power up, if it had any advantage.
I don't think it did. It just looked cool.
Just like, if it's just like those CS:GO knives.
Yeah. And they do Hanafuda. I don't understand how Hanafuda's played, so it was...
I think nobody really understands, so I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
But she...
Why she...
But she defeats him.
Yeah.
And all the accounts are restored, and Oz starts to get turned back to normal.
But wait.
There's more.
There's more.
The countdown hasn't stopped, and they've discovered that...
Yeah, I was like, wow, they have like 14 minutes left. It's finally a movie where they don't have to go, okay, we stopped it at the last second.
And yet... yeah, I'd quite like a movie where it's like, wow, we stopped it in an incredibly comfortable amount of time.
Yeah.
Basically, Love Machine, they didn't get it exactly all. They didn't get 2, which was Kenji's admin account and the codes. The account with the code to stop the satellite.
Yeah.
And it creates this really good scene where the uncle can take it. Now that Oz is being restored, they can do it down, but Love Machine keeps putting up codes to stop them. which Kenji just keeps breaking.
Yeah, and the thing is, the satellite is now on the course to crash on the house.
Yeah, it's coming in for
family.
He doesn't care about destruction anymore. He cares about revenge.
Yeah, and to be honest, they could have just solved the problem with evacuating.
They could have.
And they had the idea to do this, but
I think it was like Ned not wanting to leave the family home. You know?
yeah, so they put their lives at risk.
Most of the people probably should have evacuated. I don't know why the kids were there.
Yeah.
But anyway, they keep breaking the codes, and by the last one, he's working out in his head.
Yeah, like he had one code and still 2 minutes left, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, okay, at least he has 2 minutes. But no, there's another code.
And
then he starts calculating it in his head.
And I love the scene. Just as he does it, Love Machine's about to put up one more, and King Casper shows up and just beats the ever-loving shit out of Love Machine.
Yeah.
Because he was going to win against Love Machine's first form, and now that Love Machine's been restored to his first form, he just kills him. I think it's like, as he's about to do it, he just decks him in the face.
Yeah.
And it's such a good scene where like, they finally stop it, Love Machine is finally defeated, and the satellite crashes into the lake and causes a geyser to erupt.
Yeah. And the house still is kind of destroyed after it, so they could have just evacuated too, but okay.
Yeah, like the house has still took a bit of a hit. You may want to check on like Granny's body. But it's all well that ends well, and it's quite sweet because at the end the whole family is able to reunite, and instead of doing her birthday, they kind of move their birthday stuff to her. They combine her birthday and funeral. So it's like kind of a celebrating her life instead of just mourning.
Yeah.
And it of course ends with the whole family now shipping Kenji and Natsuki.
Yeah. And there's a nosebleed scene.
And there's a nosebleed scene, because of fucking course there is.
Yeah.
And that was Summer Wars.
Yeah.
And the fact that there are some scenes I haven't even mentioned that are important yet, like when the Great Grandma's still alive and she starts calling up literally fucking everyone to motivate them. Like, that's just a grandma thing to do. And it's so good.
Yeah, this family really centered around the grandma.
Yeah. She's very much like the head of the household, and that...
Oh, and I like that it was like, what's the...
Matriarchy.
Matriarchy.
Where, the women are also like the heads of the family rather than the men.
I like that it was this way because most of the time it's a patriarchy.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing. Because there were no real scenes in this film where I was like, oh, that's a bit questionable morally. Like, I think at least once in each, maybe like, I don't think like all of them has, but like in a good like half of the movies we've reviewed, there's been a couple scenes where I'm like, oh, that's a bit politically incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this film had any of that. It was pretty just like not being a dick. With the exception of the uncle, he can go fuck himself. They don't even really properly redeem him by the end. He doesn't say sorry. He's gonna feel like, hey, I'm sorry for fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Have you got any more comments on the film's plot?
No, I just thought it was interesting that Love Machine the name, it reminded me of the virus WannaCry.
Ooh.
But WannaCry came out later. It was 2017, I think.
Oh, was WannaCry the one
biggest.
that fucked up everything? Yes, it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you know that WannaCry actually caused a very serious outage in the NHS because they were still running on Windows XP?
WannaCry fucked a lot of things up, not just the NHS.
Yeah, a lot of hospitals were involved. Poor O2 Germany. It's specifically O2 Germany as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was your favourite scene?
My favorite scene?
Mm-hmm.
I really like the ending when they came together. It was really cliche,
Cliche, yes.
you know, but it was kind of sweet.
Yeah, it's a happy movie. It's a happy ending you've seen before, but like it's a welcome happy ending.
Yeah. Just a question.
Of course.
Why is it called Summer Wars? Just because it's
I'm not
set in summer?
entirely sure. My guess is it's set in summer, and the main battle kind of has allusions to the war their family fought in.
because when I saw the cover of this film, I kind of expected a totally different movie. I thought it was more about maybe rivalry kid gangs
Yeah.
fighting each other in real life and in this digital world.
But it's absolutely not about that. It's just
Yeah. It was totally different from my expectations, but I liked it.
now
So what was your favorite
the hand holding scene. Absolutely, the hand holding scene is so good.
Oh. Yeah.
It is such a good scene. I did just want to say that if anyone's thinking of getting this movie, the Hosoda collection is a really good Blu-ray set that comes with the DVD and the Blu-ray, and it also has a really nice art book with like a bunch of key art of like just kind of talking about the movie, stuff like it has a full page spread of the hand holding scene. Movie posters, and I highly recommend that. Yes.
Yeah, if you want to have a German version, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah, there is no German version. There is no dub. The dub doesn't exist. We don't talk about the dub.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really hard to... I don't want to get too much into it, but let's say it was hard to find the movie.
Yes. And you kept getting harassed by singles in your area.
It happens,
It does happen. But yeah, I've already talked at length about the hand-holding scene, so I'm not going to re-go at length, you know.
Yeah.
The Japanese voice actor for Kenji is the Japanese voice actor for Marco in Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, nice. Did you watch the Japanese
Yes.
version? Oh, nice. And I guess the voice acting is way better than
Yeah, it's...
what I watched.
I can't comment on the English dub, as it's been probably about a decade since I've watched the English dub, but the Japanese dub was pretty good. Now, whether that's because I don't understand a word of Japanese, But the subtitling was pretty accurate. Like, I could very easily follow the movie.
Yeah.
Do we have any more comments we'd like to make on this movie before we move on to our rating?
Not from my side. What else movies did the director make? Like, I think The Girl That Leaped
Yes,
Through
The
Time.
Girl Who Leapt Through Time was the movie before this. And he...
Because
Go on.
I think I enjoyed that a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
But this one was nice.
I haven't watched it yet. I know he did The Boy...
What?
He did The Boy and the Beast, and he did Wolf Children.
Ah,
I
nice.
don't know if he's done anything else. He also did those 2 Digimon films I watched, so try and seek out specifically the Japanese versions of them, because, as I said, the American versions of Frankenstein's monster, it doesn't work. Also, they force you to watch the Angela Anaconda short at the start, and if you don't know who Angela Anaconda is, I'm very sorry for telling you she exists.
I know who she is. We had this in Germany too, yeah.
Even Germany wasn't safe.
Yeah.
So, overall rating. I really like this movie. I do definitely... It is a film I have issues with, but it's a very good comfort movie for me. It's visually stunning, it's nice, it's happy. It made me feel really good after I watched it. And like I've already said, my film standards are very low. But that also means that, like, films I enjoy, I really enjoy. So, if I had to rate this film, I'd say it's probably like an 8 or a 9 for me.
Okay.
Because a lot of my issues weren't actual issues, they were more logical issues, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm someone who's got very, very heavy suspension of disbelief. So, yes, the Osby connected to F-Ring is fucking stupid. But I can live with it. Because so far my favourite movie on this podcast is about a giant reptile.
Okay, yeah.
What would you say?
So because I compare my ratings with all the other ratings we did already, I think I would give it like a 6, so 6 points. Because I enjoyed it. I think I will watch it again sometime, but I have issues with it. It's not a perfect film for me, and maybe it's because I study in this field that it's harder for me.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I do actually rank these movies. However, my ranking sort of changes a lot.
Yeah, it also depends kind of in the mood you are in right
Like,
now.
Yeah, like, for example, when we talked about the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, I was on about how that film is an absolute masterpiece. And I stand by it. You know, I stand by it. I think the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is one of the greatest movies ever made. It's 4th place on my ranking.
Okay.
Would you like to go into the ranking at some point in the 10th episode?
Yeah, I think we should do that because right now I can't really remember how many points I gave.
It'll give me a good idea to, like... It'll be a nice idea to, like, for me to... I can have a sit down and have a proper think.
Yeah. Like, I want to find out what I rated the other movies. And then compare to my... how I would rate them now. Like, if it complies with my ranking.
And yes, not counting the special, because if we count the special, this is the 10th episode, but we're not counting the special. Because it's a different thing.
Yeah, we didn't talk about a specific movie there,
Yeah.
so it just something else.
Next is the 10th episode, and Leon, you have the very nice pleasure of being the person who gets to choose the movie for it.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry that, again, it's a Japanese movie, so 50% of our podcasts are about Japanese movies.
Oh, don't worry, dude. There's going to be some classic. I'm going to bring in some classics soon.
Yeah. So, the movie is called One Cut of the Dead. And I really don't want to talk much about it yet, because it's better to go into this movie
Yes,
blind.
I have been specifically instructed to not look up much about this movie.
Yeah. Please don't. Just watch. But I like it a lot. Okay. Do you have anything else to say?
I do not really have much else to say, other than just to thank you all for watching, listening, or whatever fucking weird futuristic way of spending it you have.
Maybe we are played through an air conditioner.
You breathe it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. And if you ended up watching this movie, please sigh, because I mean, we do this podcast, regardless of how popular it is, but comments are nice. I'm not gonna be like, it's only 10% of my audience are subscribed. No. But I like talking to people. But yes, thank you for watching. Next time we will be returning to Japan. And the time after that, I don't know. I haven't thought that far
Maybe
ahead.
we have a little bit. Maybe we have a break after, like a Japan break.
We're banned from Japan for 5 episodes. Well, we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.